What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. FBI reportedly began investigation into allegations that the agency, when headed by then director James Comey, launched a honeypot operation to infiltrate the 2016 Trump campaign with 2 female agents. This is crazy. The Washington Post reported the agency is looking into allegations of 2015 operation, which revealed the whistleblower in a disclosure to the White House Judiciary Committee last year, and was said to involve 2 agents acting as honeypots while traveling with the Trump team. We knew he was a sauerkraut.
Trump's efforts to root out agents that he thinks could politically weaponize law enforcement. At least 4,000 agents have been instructed to fill out a survey revealing if they had any involvement in the president's January 6th and classified documents cases. Let's bring in Jonathan Turley. So, Professor, the president is going through the DOJ and the FBI with a scrub brush. A lot of the president's supporters think that it's a needed house cleaning, but other people think it goes a bridge too far. What do you think?
He's cleaning house.
Well, I was one of the loudest critics of these cases, and I believe the president has an interest, a need to reform both the FBI and the DOJ. Now, there's a difference between a focused reform and a blind purge. And I do have concerns that agents and line prosecutors could be punished for participating in these cases. These were cases conducted under court orders, and they shouldn't bear the cost of that. They're following orders. These are hierarchical organizations. The problem has always rested in the mid-level and high-level ranks, and some of those officials are still there. Others have left. But, you know, this was part of the campaign promise that he would reform these agencies. He has a great interest and a right to do so. It's just that I think we have to be very careful that line agents and prosecutors are not swept up simply for doing their jobs.
Right. Well, the president said in the Oval Office on Friday that this is about more than just him. Listen to how he put it.
We have some very bad people over there. It was weaponized at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They came after a lot of people, like me, but they came after a lot of people. No, I wasn't involved in it. I'll have to see what is exactly going on after this is finished. But if they fired some people over there, that's a good thing because they were very bad.
So what do you think? Is this about more than just him?
Well, I think there is a real problem with the culture at the FBI and DOJ. And remember, this is a president in his first term was met with an acting attorney general who ordered the entire department to stand down and not assist him in his immigration reforms. He wants to get this work done quickly, and he has experienced that you can have resistance of this kind. So I think you have to be careful. You have to make sure you're protecting career people who are doing their job according to what they were ordered to do by courts or by their supervisors. At the same time, I do think you need to get to the real basic question of how to reform these agencies. These are the hardest of hard silos, particularly the Department of Justice. It's filled with lawyers. They know how to resist efforts at reform. So it's not going to be an easy task, but it's a task that is worth taking on.
Right. So here's what the senior senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Mark Warner, said about, I don't want to say purge, because that would connote one thing, but this idea of going through and scrubbing the FBI. Here's how we put it.
If you are suddenly taking out the most experienced folks at Justice or at the FBI, how does that make us stronger? What does that mean for our cybersecurity? What does it mean for our trafficking and stop against fentanyl and other drugs?
You got to get rid of the individuals that are like cancerous to these 3-letter organizations. There are people in there that have been in there for a very long time that have deep roots. And we saw this. We saw what happened with the weaponization of the DOJ against Donald Trump. And we got to get rid of those people and create a massive reform in these organizations.
What does it mean in terms of, serious crime investigations? This would be devastating.
So what do you say about his argument?
Well, I think the question is what the focus of all of this really will be. What the president is referring to are those responsible for weaponizing these departments. That's different. That's a type of experience you don't want to replicate. At the same time, I think that we have to keep in mind that these cases involve thousands of people who were carrying out their jobs under court orders by directions of their superiors. They're not responsible for these cases. So we have to make sure that we do protect the rights of line prosecutors, line agents who really didn't determine the direction of these cases. But there is a need to look at how these cases developed and who was involved in those developments.
I 100%. Real America's Voice, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel were spot on when they say that they hold people accountable. The FBI has launched an investigation into James Comey for running a honeypot operation back in 2016.
So Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel were spot on when they said they would be holding people accountable, especially when it comes to the weaponization of the federal government against President Trump and his confidants, that they would hold people accountable. And guess where it appears they are starting? James Comey. We are now learning from numerous outlets that are reporting that the FBI has launched an investigation into James Comey for running what is being called an off-the-books, quote, honeypot operation. You may ask what a honeypot operation is. It's been perfected by the Chinese Communist Party. You send a couple smoke show hot female agents, infiltrate whoever you're trying to infiltrate, and see if they can pull out information. That apparently is exactly what James Comey did to the Trump campaign in 2016. Can you imagine the federal government using its resources to help a Democrat candidate, Hillary Clinton at the time, to take down a soon-to-be president? This, folks, is what a coup is all about. General Flynn talked about this investigation on with our friend Benny Johnson.
These people are busted. And so for Jim Comey, that's why I said earlier, Jim, if you get this message, start thinking about what you're gonna give up, because you're gonna give up some of your freedom because you're gonna go to jail. You must go to jail because of what you did.
General Flynn said, go start getting measured at the big and tall shop for an orange jumpsuit. James Comey is in some big trouble. That's
Holy crap. Listen to this. James Comey busted right here. James Comey bragging about sending 2 agents to infiltrate and spy on Trump, admitting he did it.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Wow. Busted, bro. Comey could have never imagined being investigated like anyone who commits heinous criminal acts. He thought that he was too smart and too clever to get caught.
Well, think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies. I'm sure I'm on the enemies list. Because the president constitutionally does oversee the executive branch entirely, which includes the Department of Justice, prosecutors and investigators. And so he could direct that individuals be pursued. Given the way he said he intends to operate if he's reelected, this will be something we could never have imagined. Again, it seems like science fiction in a way, but it's what another 4 years of Donald Trump really promises, which is why people criticize CNN for their town hall. I want the American people to stare at the threat that we're facing and understand that they cannot take the next election off.
The FBI met with Igor Danchenko for 3 years while he was a confidential human source for the FBI. They could have been asking all these questions. But as I've said from the beginning, the FBI is smart enough to know the questions they don't want answers to, because they didn't want their investigation to be shut down. And that's what they did. They Strzok, Page, Comey, all those people failed on purpose to set forth specific questions, because they knew the answers would kill the Russiagate investigation, because they would have no credibility for their source verification process, and they would have no fundamental facts upon which to go to the FISA court. That was their end goal. They engineered a crime and worked in reverse. And then they went out there, as we'll talk about, and offered up bounties to people with information. It is a shocking abuse of the law and a total breakdown of the FISA application process.
Oh boy, Kash Patel and Bongino are going to be on it like flies on shit. The whistleblower claimed 2 agents were inserted into high levels of the campaign and were directed to act as honeypots and travel with Trump and his campaign staff. However, the investigation was allegedly closed because the media outlet obtained a photograph of one of the agents and was about to publish it. The whistleblower said they observed one or more employees being directed to never discuss the operation to anyone, including those involved in the operation. Washington Times reported that the Bureau, now headed by Director Kash Patel, is looking into those employees. Oh boy. Patel was sworn in by FBI Director last week. This is a huge bombshell. Patel previously served as chief investigator of the House on intelligence probe into Russia interference in 2016 presidential election campaign. Throughout the investigation, he led efforts to uncover FISA abuse and expose the FBI and the DOJ unlawful actions. Comey, just like that gentleman said, you better get ready. Get that jumpsuit ready, man. They are launching a full-blown investigation on Mr. Comey. What do you guys think about this? Drop it down in the comments section down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.